Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Scott. Today we're working on a cool custom paint scheme for a commission army that I'm working on right now. The idea here is that these are very basic Necrons that are emerging from puddles of oil. So let's go ahead and dive into how I painted this model. For the base coat on this model, I've primed it using Leadbelcher spray primer from Citadel. Now since this is the base color for the model, make sure you get a good, full, even coverage. Now the first thing we're going to do for this model is we're going to give it an all-over wash using contrast Basilicanum Grey. Now this is going to turn it somewhat black, so make sure you do an even coverage, don't let it pool too aggressively in one spot. Once we've allowed that contrast paint to dry, we're going to take Stormhost Silver and we're going to use this to highlight the edges that we want to emphasize on the model, particularly towards the top of the model. And then any of the decorative armor panels on the model, we're going to layer using this color. Once we've highlighted all the edges that we want, we're going to take Seraphim Sepia and we're going to put this in a few splotches across the model. This is meant to represent oil stains on the armor panels of the model. Once we've allowed the oil splotches to dry, we're going to take Runelord Brass and we're going to paint this on all of the ring textured cables that are coming off of the back of the model and connecting to the weapons of the model. There are also a few of these on the belly of the model, we'll paint those as well. With that base color in place, we're going to take Agrax Earthshade and we're going to wash this over all of the areas that we painted with the Runelord Brass in the previous step. Now we're going to take Khorne Red, and we're going to use this as the base color for the weapon and the smooth cables that are coming off of the model. Now we're going to take Carroburg Crimson, and we're going to use this to pin shade in all of the recesses on the blade of the weapons, and any spots that we want to be a little bit darker red. Our next step is going to be to take Mephiston Red and we're going to begin layering all the areas we want to have a red glowing effect. Now we're focusing on putting the brighter red where we think the energy would be focused from the different weapons and orbs that are on the model. We're then going to take Evil Sunz Scarlet and we're going to do an additional layer of highlighting, but this time we're not going quite up to the edge of what we did in the previous layer of highlighting. Once that's done, we're going to take Wild Rider Red and we're going to do yet another layer of highlighting, but this time we're only highlighting the very edges of the weapons and the very center of any of the glowing orbs that are on the model. We're going to do our final layer of highlighting using Wraithbone. We're going to focus on putting this on the very edges, and it's going to be an even finer line than we did with the previous layer. Now I wanted to give a glowing effect around all of the red glowing areas we just finished painting, so I took Contrast Blood Angels Red and I watered it down a bit, and I'm painting this anywhere that I feel the light would be reflecting off of the armor panels. And in some spots I even did multiple coats of this. Once that contrast paint dries, we're done working on the model for now, so we're going to work on the base plate, and you can paint this with any gray you want. I used Pewter Grey from Apple Barrel, which you can buy at Walmart. It's really cheap. You don't need to use expensive paints when you're working with basing. Once that gray is dried, we're going to shade the entire base using Agrax Earthshade. You can go as heavy as you'd like with this, it really doesn't matter a ton when you're working with base plates. Once we've allowed the shade to dry, we're going to dry brush the entire base plate using Wraithbone. This is a light dry brush. You don't want to go too heavy because you're not trying to turn this white. You're just trying to catch the texture that's in the base. To achieve the oil on the base, I made a mixture using still water effect paint from Vallejo mixed with brown and black ink. Now I didn't record a specific ratio, I just mixed these paints until I was happy with the consistency. Applying the oil to this model was pretty straightforward. I just used a dropper bottle and dropped it both on the base plate and dripping down the model as if he had just stepped out of the oil. Now when you do this, make sure you do your varnish coat before you apply the oil. And with that, we finished painting this model. Thank you so much for watching today. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, go ahead and like it, and then subscribe to my channel so you can see future videos. And if you'd like to show me some of your own paintwork, go ahead and check the description of this video where I've left a link to my Facebook group. Go ahead and go in there, request to join, and show me some of your paintwork. As always, have an amazing day, and we'll catch you in the next one.